What's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 9 of the Dual Hemisphere Hangout.
We're one
My
away
name
from
is
double
Luke.
figures.
I'm saying we're one away. As you guys already know, my name is Luke, and as always, I am joined by my lovely co-host, Jake. Jake, go ahead and say hi to the people, my man.
Hello, everyone. You're used to us now. Like, we're all boring.
Yes, we are very much boring. And guys, honestly just want to say a quick thank you guys again for your continued support throughout it. You know, we love the fact that you guys are interacting with the podcast. We love that you guys are interacting with the shorts as well. Obviously guys, we really enjoy talking about what we like talking about, and we're glad that you guys are joining us and every week. Our concurrent viewers are pretty ridiculous right now. A lot of y'all are tuning in every single week, whether that be on YouTube, whether that be on the podcast services. So, guys, awesome. Thank you guys so very much for that. And, I guess this week, we're going to continue the trend of Pokemon a little bit. And one thing that I think we're going to talk about a little bit today, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it and kind of explain. One thing about us is, if you guys don't already know, or you guys aren't really following along with any of Jake's current content, Jake plays a lot of different Pokemon games. And so recently I've gotten the Pokemon itch to start recording some videos, and I have found my way to trying to, instead of playing your basic, Emeralds, Fire Reds, Heart Gold, Soul Silvers, I'm like, you know what? Let me go ahead and start playing some ROMs. And so, of course, little old me started his little journey with all his little ROM hacks about last week, and they have thoroughly kicked my ass, to say the least. To paint you guys a picture, I think the first one I wanted to try, and it's honestly because BDSP, a Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, has left such a sour taste in my mouth, and I do generally enjoy Generation 4. And the reason why BDSP just kind of left a sour taste in my mouth is, honestly, I did a challenge with it, and it was not the most fun challenge in the world. It was fun at the time.
It's fun for me to watch.
Going back, yes, it was. It was fun for the viewers. It was not fun physically and mentally on Luke's brain. The fact that I stayed up for well over 24 hours playing a game, nuzlocking it, blind racing with Seb, who is also and somehow getting very extremely competitive. Like within the last 4 hours of the game, I was trying to beat it, and
it got tasty.
Yeah, it got tasty.
I wish the VOD was still there, man.
Yeah, it was definitely something, man. Man, you live and you learn. But that one, I never really went back to it because I was just like, all right, I beat the game. There wasn't really much for me to go back to, so I didn't really enjoy casual playthroughs. So I'm like, you know what? I've been hearing about this little thing called Luminescent Platinum, and I decided to play it, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna record it. I'm gonna hardcore nuzlocke it, and we're gonna see what happens. I got my ass kicked 8 times in a row. It was so bad after the first, and it was the first gym. I kind of breezed through everything else. I'm like, all right, this is kind of normal. They give you some Pokemon. If you guys don't know, it is it is basically Renegade Platinum, which is a Drayano difficulty hack put into BDSP. And so it's already difficult as it is, but again, I've never really expected it to be as difficult as it was. And so yeah, I had a pretty solid team going in there. Everyone was at the right levels, and my gosh, I got my ass beat. There's no other way. Rourke beat my ass. I'm talking
lulls you into a false sense of security. It's a very, very good mod. You'll be going in with everyone's favorite starters. It gives you 3 starters before the first gym. It gives you a Beldum. It gives you all the tools that you think, I'm gonna slap this game up, and then nope. You get slapped by the gym leader because the gym leader has a hyper competitive team and you weren't expecting it. And it's I think it is meant to be played with docs, and by doc I mean documentation. So you could see what they have and see what and then counter accordingly. Luke went blind.
Yeah, I just went blind. I didn't know, man. I didn't know. And the thing that really got me to it was, I think what got me the most is, okay, so I officially lost, and I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm not gonna, continue the Nuzlocke. I am just at this point, I want to beat Rourke, and I did not want to change it up the level cap. it took me about 9 times to beat Rourke. And because this is one thing that Platinum does. So like, oh, if you reset and you lose, you want to retry again. Good luck, because he has 6 different teams of 4 of all different types of Pokemon. Like he might have like a Shieldon and a Lilip and an Anorith and a Rhyhorn and an Onyx and a Geodude. And the next time he's got Lunatone and Solrock and Anorith in the back. Anorith, mind you, is my least favorite Pokemon as of right now. I hate that Pokemon just because of that game. Fury Cutter, literally, like, it didn't miss. It one-shot my entire team. I was utterly heartbroken. But eventually I did beat it. And then I said, you know what? I am not going to Nuzlocke this. I am going to come back to this, and I'm going to play this in my free time, not for content, and actually enjoy it and play it. But man, oh man, was I not having it. I think I played a little bit of the recording of Jake, and I'm pretty sure in the beginning of the recording I said I am not having fun.
Luke was defeated. The look on his face was just, if I could recreate it, it was just
yes,
just flat, plain face. Almost like you could tell that just every last bit of soul had been sucked out of him after being beat down by the first gym. Don't get me wrong, when you get on a hardcore run, and you're like, I'm flying, you get through like 4 or 5 gyms, and you think, right, now it's time I need to slow down a bit, because you kind of go on autopilot, cruise control, just slapping. If you get a couple of deaths, it doesn't matter, because like you've got more encounters further on, so you can get different Pokemon. Once you hit that late game and you start throwing Pokemon away, like, oh, they're all dying. So, oops, I haven't got anything left.
Nope.
So yeah, when you die on the first gym, it does make you reconsider, like, oh, maybe this game isn't for me.
Yeah, that's literally what I said. Maybe I need to like take some baby steps into Nuzlocking a difficulty hack. Maybe I should play a difficulty hack all the way through and not Nuzlocke it first, and then go into Nuzlocke. Because I had no idea. I was just like, all right, well, how hard it be? I played Volt White 2 and Black Volt 2 a couple of times with a couple more Drayana hacks. I played your what's it called? Radical Reds and stuff like that. I mean, those are always difficult, but like those are just casual playthroughs. I'm like, all right, yeah, I lost that one. All right, I'll try this strategy again. But Nuzlocking, it's a whole different type of beast, man, and it was not a whole lot of fun, that's for sure.
So what you playing now then? If you've been that off?
Yeah. So right now we are playing a fun ROM hack. So as a little lesser known secret, both me and Jake are really, really big Johto fans. We love our Gold and Silver, our Heart Gold and Soul Silver. So there's a little ROM out there. It's called Pokemon Gold and Silver Chronicles. It is a ROM hack of Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver on the Fire Red Leaf Green engine. And it is a more well-written, story-based version of Gold and Silver. Because the one thing that Gold and Silver always had against itself was the storyline. It was like, all right, you're going to go Team Rocket's back. They don't really have a purpose other than they want to bring Team Rocket back. You're going to go take down a Red Gyarados, and then you're going to beat the gym leaders, and then you're going to go to Kanto. And you're just going to beat the gym leaders in Kanto, and then you're going to walk up, and then there's Red, which is epic, amazing. That is super cool. I think
there's no backstory to any of it.
Yeah. There's no backstory to it at all, but it's still the most cool thing ever. So this one does an expansion. So like, I really like it because it fleshes out Team Rocket a lot more. They have a lot more motos. You bump into them a lot more. You bump into them as early as there's like a little section in the ruins of Alph where you bump into them before you even get to the Slowpoke well. You have 2 rivals in this one. You have, Silver, Giovanni's kid, whose story is a little bit more fleshed out. Well, he's not like, I'm better than you and Pokemon are weak. He's actually like, no, he's like trying to figure out like how you can beat Team Rocket really early on. You kind of know he's got some sort of backstory. And the coolest one that I think is they gave Chris, the girl, that's like Professor Elm's assistant, more of a well fleshed out backstory. So as of right now, Chris' dad is the founder of the Johto League. So, unlike us going to Kanto's Pokemon League, they're establishing their own Johto Pokemon League. I don't know what that looks like yet because I haven't beaten it yet. But she's got a little bit more backstory. Like she's kind of like not. She's has a complicated relationship with her father. And so she's more fleshed out as well. So you have 2 rival battles in that one. So the story is more fleshed out. It's actually a lot of fun. I like the story side of it a lot. And it's actually pretty difficult. Like it's not like a Drayana difficulty hack. It definitely has more and the AI is a little bit smarter. Yeah, the AI is a little bit smarter. They switch out. The Pokemon have competitive move sets and they have abilities and items and stuff like that, but they're not like it's not like crazy difficult. So I've been playing that and I've been having a lot of fun. It's also been kicking my butt a little bit. I won't spoil anything too much for when the inevitable video comes out, but I will talk about one specific one. A couple episodes back, we did talk about Whitney and Morty, and God, they're just as annoying as they fucking were back when I was 7 years old. Fucking hate those two. But specifically, and fun thing about Whitney, she is no longer a normal type gym. She is a fairy type gym. So that is always that definitely was a lot of fun. Yes, I definitely did. I went into that blind. I had no idea, and I was like, "Oh, okay, we are officially all fairy types.
Yeah.
Oh, we are getting cooked." I'm like, "All right, thank goodness I caught a Toxicroak and decided to put that on my team for a fighting type for the Milk Tank. But I guess I'll be using the poison moves now." And so, but yeah, Morty specifically. So I went into this again, mind you, I went into this blind. The only thing I know are the levels of the gym leader's ace Pokemon, which, by the way, they are not fucking accurate on the dock. They're like 2 levels higher. So I've made an educated guess to raise it by 2 every single time. I'm like, all right, if I'm somehow over leveled, then oh well, we'll figure something out. But it hasn't failed me yet because I went into the second gym and I'm like, all right, the Scyther is supposed to be level 20. And it was level 22. And I'm like, all right, well, thank God I have a fire type because I would have lost. And so every single time I like a little bit live. But Morty's gym is different. And it's a good thing I caught on to this because I speed through the gym battles because I'm just doing a blind record, the gym trainer battles. I'm not really like, really thinking about the basic trainer battles. But they have fog in this gym, which makes the evasiveness of both Pokemon go way up.
Yeah.
Way up.
When did they introduce the fog? Was it Gen 4?
Yeah, Gen 4 was in there, but I don't think it was ever used as a game mechanic. I think it was more used as, well, let me phrase it. It was never used as a gym mechanic. It was just like in the wild. Like it was never really a big thing. And then you would just defog. And so I'm like blitzing through these things. And I have my fast forward on, just trying to get to the gym leader. And I'm like, God, I am missing a lot. What the fuck? And I'm like, I am like missing all my moves. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to lose my Croconaw right now. Like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, what's going on? And then I'm like, what? And so I beat the gym leader. I'm like, I gotta see what's going on. And I play it in slow mode. I'm like, oh my God, there's fog. I need defog. Because if I don't, I am going to lose this run entirely. And I'm not going to be the one who's like, well, I lost. It's okay. No one's going to know. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. And so I'm like, I need to go get defog. And I'm looking at my box. I'm like, I've got a single mom that I think can learn defog. And I have no more encounters. I'm like, is this when the run's over? And then funnily enough, I check and for some fucking reason, I guess Combuskin can learn defog. And so I'm like, all right, well, Combuskin's my fucking sacrificial lamb now because I got to hit defog and then get out of here because Morty has an Alolan Marowak of all fucking things with a thick, and it's got its thick club Shadow Bone as well as Stomping Tantrum, which I learned about after. I'm like, I need to get out of here.
Damn,
but yeah,
that's a Marowak and a half.
Yeah, so definitely I did lose some Pokemon in that battle. But that's where I'm at in the story mode of things. So definitely Luke's journey into Nuzlocking slightly difficult games is not going as smoothly as his first ever Nuzlocke, where he was just having fun in Heart Gold and Soul Silver and just enjoying his little time with all of his friends again, like Jalapeno and Wally, just chilling and having a good time.
I must admit, my Genlock loving it in life at the moment. Vanilla, going back to Nuzlocking a vanilla game is
Mm-hmm.
It just seems so easy.
Yes.
I'm coming into gyms and they've got like 3 Pokemon instead of 6. They don't have items. I mean, their EVs and IVs are all like set at like 18 to 20 something. Like everything's the same. I have become accustomed to walking into a gym and expecting the gym leader to have all 6 and competitive sets and competitive items, and they've all got perfect IVs, and I haven't got anything to deal with any of it. But no, it sounds like you're having really good fun on the old ROM hacking front. So
it is a lot of fun.
I have made some notes because we are going to talk about ROM hacks this episode.
Yeah.
And now I claim to be the guy who plays all the ROM hacks, but ones that my list of ones that I've actually completed are very short, to say the least. But because I've played so many of them, like I do have like an idea of what's good. So I've got a long list, well, not a long list, but a list of notable ROM hacks that I think people, if you are looking for games to play and you don't know where to look, are a good starting point, I think.
Yeah.
So, first on my list, I don't know if you've played this one, Luke, but you'll definitely know what goes on in it, is Adventures Red. Now, Adventures Red is a ROM hack of Fire Red, and it follows Red along the tales of the anime, pretty much like to the T. So if you've seen the anime, you know exactly what's going to go on. Now, I watched the anime as a kid. I honestly can't remember what's gone on. So it probably should be on my playlist again because I won't have a clue what goes on. But the storyline will feel a bit warped to an original Pokemon game because what happens in the anime is quite different to what actually happens in the VG.
Now, question about that. So I know there are 2 different anime versions. There's the one that you just mentioned, and there's Ash Gray. So is the red one following Red in the manga, like the manga story, or is it just Ash but they're calling him Red?
No, I think it is the I think it is the manga. Let me check. Adventures Red Pokemon ROM. Because I know that this one is probably like the most fleshed out version. It has got a lot of. So this will be the final major update. It does all of the Kanto region, the Orange Islands, and the beginning of the Elite Four.
Okay.
So it covers a lot of stuff.
So
story
Orange
follows
Islands,
the manga exactly with a few extra events.
Okay, there we go. Perfect. All right, that's what I was thinking. Okay, because I was like, wait, Red is the manga version, Ash is the anime version. Because I know there's an Ash Gray version, which is legit taking things from the Pokemon anime. And I played that one. I've not played Adventures Red. I played Ash Gray, and that one's a lot of fun too. No, yeah, definitely. Those games are, that's definitely one I've heard a lot. You know, when you look up like top 10 ROMs to play in 2024, I see that. I've seen that one like for 3 years. It's always up there. It's definitely a very well-known one, and definitely one that I should definitely give a try, maybe as a casual just playthrough of it. Because I actually love the Pokemon Adventures manga. It's actually very, very dark and very fun. It's a fun read. It definitely is. I'm not sure. You've probably seen the manga panel of it, but they literally cut an Arbok in half in the manga. Yeah. Like Charmeleon uses Slash, and it's just Arbok split into 2 like this. Like you see, it's I'm like, ooh, all right, we're getting gruesome.
You found love for Arbok at the moment. I used one in the Soul Link, and I've got one in the Genlock. It's like, don't do that to Mike.
Don't do that to my boy. All right, what's next on the list, Jake?
Next is Fire Red Rocket Edition. So again,
I heard about this
ROM hack of Fire Red. But you play from the other side. So instead of going into Oak's lab, you jump out the van or you jump out of your house and you're recruited into Team Rocket. I haven't played this one. I've been saving it for a rainy day because I want to do a whole series on it because it's got very, very... it's a very fleshed out ROM. It gives more features to what just a vanilla ROM would be. Features include like stealing Pokemon. So you battle a trainer, you beat them, you steal their Pokemon. A bit like the Snag 'em from Pokemon Colosseum. It's got a morality system. So the decisions you make will affect the story in some way, which I think coding into a Fire Red is whoever did that. Tip my hat to you. And then it does have some small side quests as well, with the ultimate goal being working your way through the ranks of Team Rocket.
Okay, that sounds like a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah, because we never see it from the other side. We just Team Rocket turn up and we just beat them down, and then it's like, okay, no, the evil team's over, it's done. What happens if the evil team wins?
Yes, what happens indeed.
And then going on forwards from that, there's a ROM hack of Pokemon Crystal called Black and White 3 Genesis. This one has been on my list for a long time as well. I do want to play this. I even have the graphics ready to go, but I moved country, so I haven't played them yet. It's an amazing sequel to Black and White 2, if people haven't played that. And it's a number of years following on from Black and White 2, but the art style looks absolutely amazing. It's done in the Crystal art style tile set. Full Unova Pokedex, so they've replaced it completely. I think it's definitely up there as a ROM that everyone should play at some point. Like I said, I was going to, but I moved country.
Yeah, that sounds amazing, actually, because I love the story of Black and White. I think the Black and White series has the best, personally speaking, I think it has got the best story and like evil team and just like overall concept in there. I think it's done really, really well. And the fact that there's a sequel that that someone's made of Black and White 2. I'm honestly very curious about to see how it goes, if we're going to be introduced to some of the same people, if Team Plasma is actually involved again, because I'm going to be so for real, Getsus should be gone. So I'm curious about what they're going to do with that. That sounds a lot of fun, actually.
Just the description of the ROM hack. Black and White 3 Genesis is a hack of Pokemon Crystal version. It's made as a sequel to Black and White 2 and takes place in Unova a number of years following the events of Black and White 2. In this game, you play as a young trainer from Humilau City. Is that how I say it? Humilau? City? And will embark on a journey across the region to catch Pokemon, collect gym badges, and thwart the plans of the mysterious group claiming to be Team Plasma, a terror group that is supposedly disbanded years ago. This game can be played on any platform that supports GBC ROMs. Features include fully demade Unova region on Game Boy Color hardware, a new original story featuring many characters from Black, White, Black 2, and White 2, demade new music tracks, new Pokemon cries, 252 Pokemon available selected throughout the first 5 generations, 255 moves throughout the first generation. It's got the fairy type added. And then the most important thing, running shoes are available from the start.
Always definitely a must in your ROMs. That actually sounds really, really cool. Kind of pivoting off of that, Jake, what really caught my attention on that one is the fact that there's only 252 Pokemon there. So when you're playing your ROMs and your games and stuff like that, what do you feel is the most important for you when it comes to Pokemon? Do you like it when you play a game and let's just say Pokemon are available from whatever generations that game released? Like, let's just say, all the generations up to Sun and Moon, if we're playing a game that was made in 2019. Or do you prefer it when there's like limited Pokemon like they are in the normal games? Or like Black and White 3 is doing with only 242, and there's clearly well over 700 Pokemon they can pull from there?
I like having a wide selection. I don't mind if the creator has decided that, okay, we're going through usually you'll see most of these ROM hacks when they're made, they've done Gen 1s to Gen 7, because that's when all the decompositions came out. So if you see ones with like Gen 9, they are like really like up to date, remade, completely remade ROM hacks. I like having all generations in, but I don't mind if the creator wants to go, actually, I'm just going to selectively pick, so say I want Alolan Marowak instead of Marowak, because it fits because I'm going for a ghost type area, and I want to put Marowak somewhere, and I don't want to put him in the ground type stuff. Or Hisuian Typhlosion, Like, I really like that. So if they want to put like 255 in, but tailor the Pokemon to the area, it's great. But mostly when I do play ROM hacks, I do want to see updated sprites and updated Pokemon in that game.
Yeah.
So if I'm playing Gold, pardon me, I do want to see, like maybe, I don't know, a Corviknight. It's new. It gives the game a brand new feel because these are Pokemon that we're used to seeing, just not in these games. And it's nice because it gives you a new feel to the playthrough rather than just using the same mons over and over again. Now, don't get me wrong, there are just like polished versions of games which have made like the vanilla game just better. And I do like playing those, but the main reason why I generally go to the ROM hacks is because we have updated battle mechanics, like Emerald, where you can Mega Evolve in Pokemon Emerald. It's like everyone thinks that's cool as fuck.
Yeah, it is.
Are you the same? I imagine you're the same, right?
Yeah. I am the same. I definitely, when I come to my ROM hacks, I definitely want updated like I don't want to walk through, like, this is how I tell. I don't want to walk through the first route and see, like, if I'm playing a Johto ROM hack and I want to walk through the first route, I do not want to see a Pidgey and a Sentret. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna get a little annoyed if I see that, just because, like, it's just kind of like, all right, cool, like, I get it, but I'm playing it because I want a variety, right? I already know what to expect here. And so I do love that there can be a very wide variety of Pokemon. But I also do respect when the creator does want to be a little bit more diverse with their picks. Like, if it makes sense, like, let's do it, right? So, like, if we are doing a game where there's like a very heavily story-based game, and it's not like a Emerald Kaizo or a Radical Red type of deal where there's not really a story, it's just a difficult game and ROM hack, like, that's fine to me. Like, if you want to do that, like with the Black and White 3 are doing, if they want to tailor-made their Pokemon because they're trying to tell a story and play a game and that's not supposed to be difficult, or if you want to, I'm not sure if you have this on your list, but if you want to pull like a Pokemon Unbound or something like that,
it's there.
In there. Okay, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about Unbound, but if you want to pull a Pokemon Unbound, and I don't think they have every single Pokemon in that game, but it's tailor made to the regions and stuff like that as well. I'm okay with that. I think it just depends on the type of ROM I'm playing and what I'm expecting out of it. If I'm expecting a difficult challenge, then I want all the Pokemon. But if you're trying to tell me a story and I'm just playing a new game, I do not care what Pokemon you put in there. I just hope that there's Charizard, personally.
Charizard always gets some sort of love in every game. But I think I definitely think you've hit the nail on the head there, Luke. That's what I was trying to get at. It's like, if it's story based, make it tailored. If it's difficulty ROM hack, give me everything. Give me all the tools I could possibly have.
Yes, please.
So next on my list isn't just like one game, it's just a set of games. I think you've touched on it earlier. Famous ROM hacker, probably the original ROM hacker. I wouldn't call him a ROM hacker, he's an improver. Drayano.
Yeah.
So Drayano, it's the first, I think it's a fantastic introduction to semi-difficulty ROM hacks. I definitely played them before I even made content or started streaming. And I'm pretty sure everyone else did. Games include Fire Red Amiga, which I haven't played, Rising Ruby, Sinking Sapphire, Sacred Gold, and Storm Silver is like the ones.
The first
Renegade Platinum.
Yep.
Which was, in its day, quote unquote, one of the hardest ROM hacks to ever be made.
It was.
And then Blaze Black and Volt White, both 1 and 2. There's not much to say, much more than they are just Vanilla Plus, as I call them. Vanilla Plus with just added content and bonus story sometimes. I think he did a fantastic job with the Storm Silver. Sacred Gold, Storm Silver. He just padded it out and then gave the gym leaders what they should have had.
Yeah,
originally.
No, definitely. Question: is Kaizo not a Drayano hack?
Kaizo is not a Drayano hack. It's next on my list, so I could just pivot there. Kaizo, I don't think is made by Drayano. While you speak about that, I will try and find the creator of the Kaizos.
Yeah, so I mean, speaking on Drayano in general, he definitely is the godfather of the difficulty hacks. He is the reason why you have your Emerald Kaizos and your Radical Reds and all the follow-ups, like the ridiculous, Nuzlocks that people are coming up with difficulty hacks. But yeah, no, Drayana definitely is like the godfather of it all, and definitely playing through. I definitely played Storm Silver when it first came out. That was one of my first difficulty hacks I ever played. A lot of fun. Actually beat that one because I love Heart Gold, Soul Silver so much. And then I did not play Volt White or Blaze Black, but I did play Volt White 2 and Blaze Black 2 because I definitely prefer the sequels a lot. Yeah, those were tough. Those were difficult ones for sure. But yeah, Drayana's just always been great. Right now, he's working on a new Crystal type game. Like it's going to be Heart Gold, Soul Silver, but Crystal storyline and Heart Gold and Soul Silver graphics. He's been working on that for the next couple years, for the past couple years. So whenever that he decides to drop that, I'll be very, very excited to play that. But yeah, the Drayana hacks, man, are definitely good. And yeah, speaking of Renegade Platinum, yeah, that one was the Emerald Kaizo before Emerald Kaizo was a thing. Yeah. Like that was by far the most difficult one that everyone talked about. Your Pokemon challenges, everyone that was trying to do Nuzlocke of that game, that was the Nuzlocke game, difficulty game before Kaizo became a thing.
I think it's definitely like it's a skill to have that type of team building. Like story-based team building is hard. Like I have made a ROM hack and I took the easy way out. I put all my friends in the game and told them they could have whatever they wanted.
Yep.
But that's a personal thing. So like anyone playing that game now in my friend group, so I call mine Ethereal Emerald because I use the Emerald decompositions. Like Luke is the first gym leader. So if Luke wants to play that, he has a sense of like, oh, I'm battling myself, which is cool. Like I'm part of the Elite Four. Nick is part of the... Nick is like Gym 6. So all of my friends are in as main parts of the storyline, which is really cool. But I think what Drayano does really well is builds a team that is very fitting to the character that is being portrayed.
Yes.
And not making it completely like unrealistic. And tailoring it to the stage of the story that you're at and giving you the expected difficulty where you think like, oh, I'm at Gym 5. I shouldn't be battling Hydreigons and Garchomps and I don't know. Absolutely crazy monsters.
And your legendaries.
On the other hand, I found the maker of the Kaizos. It's a person called Sinister Hooded Figure, which is very fitting because he's this Mr. or Miss or person, Sinister Hooded Figure, has destroyed many lives in the Pokemon community.
Yes.
They have made... so there is the full series. There's Blue Kaizo, Crystal Kaizo, which people don't realize because everyone just goes straight to Emerald Kaizo. Mainly because Emerald Kaizo came out last and it's more polished. I've just got some notes. So most Pokemon have been reworked. Effectively, like if you're going into Kaizo and you're battling a Ledian, or is it Ledian, that now has Iron Fist and over 100 base attack stat. So be careful when it Drain Punches you.
Like what the fuck, dude? Like Ledian with a base 100 attack, dude. Like Drain Punch. Like you're telling me that if blind, not knowing what to expect, and I see Ledian, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna kill this thing real quick, and it's just fucking Drain Punches me, and I'm dead. I'd be dumbfounded, dude. Dumbfounded.
But again, most Pokemon have been reworked, and every trainer has a gimmick. So I think this is what you were touching on earlier: is that the team, like when you were playing Luminescent Platinum, like the team is not just good mons slapped together with items. They actually have a synergistic gimmick to them, which makes it even harder, especially when you're Nuzlocking, because most of the time you don't have answers to that gimmick, whether it be sun, sand, rain, I don't know, sticky webs. It's like they're all synergistic. So, and then also in in the Kaizo series, it doesn't matter who you battle. Usually we'd expect a gym leader to be the hardest battle in the game. No, you can just have average Joey on Route 1 come out with a full team of 6 and blast you into the middle of Oblivion. Which is why you see when most people play through, you don't do a full playthrough of battling every trainer. They will try and skip some because there are literally optional trainers that will ruin your life. like majorly ruin your life.
Oh yeah.
But that's the Kaizo series in a nutshell. I think everyone knows the Kaizo series.
Yeah, they're
Go on.
Yeah, I was gonna say they are notorious for a reason. That's why they're notorious for a reason.
Moving on, one game that I have played quite a bit of is Pokemon Brown. Now, Pokemon Brown is part of a series that goes, I think, goes from Pokemon Brown, Prism, and then Region Adventures. Now, the region is called Region. I think it was a bit of a cop-out doing that, but fair enough. But I think Pokemon Prism was the first ROM hack to officially get a cease and desist from Nintendo.
Oh, okay.
And if that tells you anything about the game, it's got a brand new, highly polished storyline with new music and Pokemon. And it was done to such a polished state that Nintendo thought they had to sue them.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't think you can get a bigger compliment than that. Pokemon Brown, when I was playing it, was amazing. It still has, like, the Game Boy Color graphics, physical special split, like all of your day-to-day quality of life changes that we're used to now, just all crammed into one brand new storyline as well, which was really cool, I think. Prism, I haven't played yet, but it should be on the list, I think.
Yeah.
There's a long list. Coming into the last two are probably everyone's favorites. I'll start with one that you've touched on, Unbound, and it's in the perfect slot at the end. I saved the best till last. But coming in just short of Unbound, just because I think it's a fan game. It's not a ROM hack. It's a fan game. Pokemon Reborn.
Okay.
Pokemon Reborn is probably one of the best rebuilds I think will ever exist in the Pokemon community in terms of fan games. It's a complete storyline from start to finish. You can get all, because it was made at Gen 7 time, you get all the starters, all 21 starters from Gen 7, with some awesome fake Pokemon. Delta Charizard. Terrain systems, over 100 hours of in-game content. Storyline. Awesome. 100 hours. Awesome. 18 gyms.
Ridiculous.
One major selling point, all the OST is done by Glitch City, which is she's an amazing artist that does remixes of Pokemon content, Pokemon OSTs. It's got Wonder Trading.
Ooh, how does that work?
Online, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Built-in randomizer, which is always lovely. Fun. Don't need to do some crazy download from the internet and get a virus.
Yes.
And then, it has been dubbed as the best Pokemon fan game ever to exist. And I would highly recommend everyone plays it at some point, if you've got a spare 100 hours.
I have not played that one. That is one of the ones that I have not played, and you sold me on it.
And then in the top spot, and I've got some quick shout-outs afterwards, but Pokemon Unbound. You touched on it earlier. Probably the best ROM hack, physical ROM hack ever to exist. Start to finish. So I don't know if you know this, Luke, but one of the forefathers of the ROM hacking community made this, a guy called Skelly, and he is responsible for the dynamic Pokemon expansion and the complete Fire Red upgrade. So basically, alongside a guy called Goulash, or Ghoul Slash. Basically, if you like Radical Red or any ROM hack, I've got it in capitals on my. If you like Radical Red or any ROM hack with newer gen Pokemon, you need to thank these guys for everything, because they were the people that put future generations into gens 1, 2, and 3. They completely remade it to a point where someone stupid as me can download the composition and start coding in, like, oh, I want to give Luke Ogapon in Emerald. It's got a complete new region, graphics, item, story types. It's got new types and abilities. Battle engine is on par with Gen 8. It has all the favorite quality of life changes, including unlimited bag space, auto run, dex nav, raids. HM friends now don't need to know the move. If it can learn strength, it can use it outside of battle. It doesn't need it in a move slot. There's difficulty mode choices. So at the start of the game, it's like, do you want to play a Nuzlocke? You click yes, and then all your Pokemon will never come back to life. So you can't cheat. You definitely can't cheat.
No.
But yeah, I think everyone knows Unbound is probably the best and probably will remain the best ROM hack because it's the guys who are responsible for the ROM hacking community.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think if you are a Pokemon fan in general, even just a casual Pokemon fan, you've heard of Pokemon Unbound. It is one of those games where the story, there's a very unique story alongside of it. I actually really like the story a lot. I like the whole idea behind Hoopa. I love how they took a kind of wash away, throwaway Pokemon like Hoopa that just got a movie and kind of really made it this pivotal thing. I think they did an awesome job with that. The game mechanics are awesome. Like the gyms are actually difficult to go. Like they're not difficult, but the puzzles are fun in there. It's not like just a little it's not your typical ROM hack where it's just like, all right, we're in a new region. All right, just do your basic stuff. Like there's so much meat and potatoes to this game. Like you mentioned, they introduced a new type. I believe it was Sound, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it was, yeah.
Sound. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But I know there's definitely a new type in there that was so much cool. My favorite thing about it is that they had actually side quests. And they were kind of fleshed out actual side quests inside of there. Like one of the first ones you do is you go in there and you have to figure out what's going on with this Alolan Sandslash that is terrorizing the area, and you have to go figure out what it is, and it just wants to feed its children. But it's such a cool little nod that you just take a 10-minute detour, and they're not like cakewalks either. There's definitely a little bit of a challenge. Again, it's like Jake said, it's been using a lot. It's definitely vanilla plus. Like your normal difficulty of it's just a vanilla plus game where you have to think a little bit. The trainers will switch out. There's just so much to it. The story is really well fleshed out, and yeah, it's one of the goats for the reason. And personally, it's one of my goats when it comes to playing ROMs in general. It definitely is one of those ones where you're looking for original story. You definitely you're doing yourself an injustice if you have not played Pokemon Unbound.
Yeah. And then I've got some quick shout outs. So that was my list of must plays. If I missed any, please leave them in the comments. Grill me all you want. Tell me what I should play because I've got a long list and I'll add to it. But I've got some quick shout outs of games that have either come out really recently or have not solidified themselves in ROM hack culture yet, except for this. I'll start on Emerald Sea Glass. Everyone has heard of that recently. Probably one of the most recent ones to blow up. Basically, every YouTuber just picked it up and went with it. It's beautiful. It's a reimagined Crystal art style with some small adjustments to Pokemon and the addition of some Gen 9 Pokemon. So because you can catch Mankey, you can now have Annihilate. If you can catch Electabuzz, so you can get Electivire. So it's just a really polished Gen 3 ROM hack with a brand new art style. Next one on a quick shout out, Black Pearl Emerald.
Never heard of it.
Very polished. Pokemon Emerald again. You'll notice it's either Fire Red or Emerald because those are the two that we have decompositions on at the moment. Once we get new decompositions, people will make games on everything else. But until then, these are the easiest ones to ROM hack. It's got gens 1 through 9 and an increased difficulty with battling previous champions before the Elite Four, which I found was really cool.
Oh.
So you've got Red, you've got Cynthia, you'll have Steven. Hopefully not Wallace. Wallace isn't a champion. Get out of here.
No, it's not. Get out of here. It's fucking trash.
One that we were talking about, Luke, as another quick one, is Pokemon Compass. Pokemon Compass, which is the redesign of Scarlet and Violet. Now, it's not really a ROM hack. It's an improvement. It's vanilla. I wouldn't say vanilla plus because it doesn't give you extra stuff. It just makes the game flow a lot nicer than what Scarlet and Violet did. It doesn't feel like you're just flowing through each area. The levels scale, so you get a sense of maybe I shouldn't be here. with this level of Pokemon.
Yeah.
And then finally on my I've got 2. Infinite Fusion, because Infinite Fusion is just bonked. It's so fun.
Yes.
I don't think any ROM hack will ever touch the level of fun that Infinite Fusion can get, just because of
not a single one.
Half of it's like AI generated, and then some of the sprites are just hilariously funny.
Yes, they are.
And the way it merges them together and having to code that is actually like quite hard.
Yeah.
So shout out to whoever did Infinite Fusion. And then finally, Pokemon Scorched Silver. I think is a newer one, 2024 ROM hack of Soul Silver. Pokemon's from Gen 8 with a Gen 7 move pool. It's basically just Johto with extra areas and Mega Evolutions if you dig it.
Ooh, okay. That sounds like a lot of fun too. You know me, I love me my Johto, so definitely. That's
Sorry, I'll just finish by saying I've left out the roguelikes because these are purely story based. I don't play with. I do like the roguelikes, but I don't think that they don't need explaining and they don't need recommending.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
They're just out there. You know what you're going to get with a roguelike. There's no better or worse one, I guess.
100%. No, I mean, definitely. I mean, I think all those games that you mentioned, Jake, are really great. I have a couple of additions of some ones that I've played that I definitely think are fun. Obviously, we talked about Gold and Silver Chronicles. I think while it is the Johto side of things is complete, as of right now, you beat the Johto Elite Four. They have not added Kanto yet. They plan on it, but they said it's like a complete story, that Johto side of things. So if you love Gold and Silver and you love that story, and you want just to spend more time in Johto and you want a more fleshed out story, highly recommend that. Also, I've wink, wink, nudge, nudge. They have mentioned a Mega Evolution in the storyline. I have not physically seen it yet, but it definitely is there, and that's super cool. Pokemon I have played recently. It was called Pokemon Xenoverse. It is not necessarily a ROM hack. It is just a fan made game where you use your like a application to play it. It was actually pretty infamous as well. It definitely was going around on TikTok. New typing, new story, fake mons, a lot of fun stuff like that. Game looks really great. Soundtrack's amazing. It's done by a French team, and they're still constantly updating. So definitely, if you ever want to play a straight up fan made game that's not built on any decomposition, definitely go for one of those. Pokemon Glazed, got to give a shout out to Pokemon Glazed. Definitely one of the. I think so.
You might need to dig for that one.
Yeah, I think you guys have to find that one. That one's definitely a lot of fun as well. Play that one a lot. Got to give a quick shout out to I recently played it. It's called Pokemon Anil. It's Kanto, but it's like much better looking. I don't really know how else to describe it, but it's a lot of fun. The gym leader is a little bit more difficult. There's a lot of more fun areas in that. And then Pokemon Gaia, another fun fan based game as well. Probably on the same. Yeah. You would know. You should know.
I have 5 episodes on my channel, and again, I stopped playing it.
I'm saying, yeah. Pokemon Gaia is one of those ones as well. You can't definitely putting it in the kind of storyline of your reimaginings of a different story set in a new area. Definitely a lot of fun with that one as well. And then honestly, I do want to give this one a quick shout just because it's a personal favorite of mine. We talked about this last episode, but I love Pokemon Conquest. And I absolutely love it. And I love the ROM hacking community for doing this in general, just making games feel newer, right? So they did this with Pokemon Conquest. It's called Pokemon Reconquest. And it is just Pokemon Conquest. It's updated, more battles. The Warlords have all specific Pokemon. And they have Pokemon up to Gen 9. So it's just like a fun little extra thing, like to give like a good quality of life improvement to games that came out way back when. So anytime a ROM hack can do that with a game, I definitely always want to give shout outs for that because they're a lot of fun. And I definitely think it's one of those things where, it's definitely needed to kind of preserve games and make them, still fun for maybe someone who wants to play Pokemon Conquest, but, start playing Pokemon in Sun and Moon. That want to come across it. Now they have their Sun and Moon Pokemon or their Gen 8 Pokemon or your Gen 9 Pokemon there. I think it's just a fun little extra thing that definitely needs to be propped out and shouted out for those ROM hacking communities. And yeah, it's definitely, those are some of my recommendations. You guys should definitely check them out. A lot of fun.
Yeah, it's good fun. I will say, like, if you are interested in any ROM hacks, there is a fantastic website. I will put it in the description. Both me and Luke use it. It's called the ROM Codex. It's basically got like any up to date, maybe not of the most up to date list, but someone has gone through and literally given you filters on everything. I'll just show it quickly on screen. Like it's a Notion sheet with everything in it. If you're interested in doing any ROM hacks, this is the place to go. So just check the description. This is where I got most of my like filtered list from. Hats off to whoever made this. I don't know.
You're a godsend.
Oh God, yeah,
you're a godsend person.
Absolute animal.
Yes,
but I think 100%. That's everything ROM hacks. I think.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think, Jake, before we move on to like the next thing that we'll talk about, but one of the biggest things that, we kind of touched on it a little bit in previous episodes when we talked about why we go to ROM hacks. I honestly just think, specifically in the Pokemon community, obviously more than any, honestly, gaming community out there, ROM hacks are just so, I think they're just so pivotal and honestly preserving the lifestyle of the life of Pokemon, I think, and for other people. I think like without ROM hacks right now, if I did not have access to a computer or playing any type of ROM hacks, I would not be touching Pokemon at all, like any form of Pokemon at all, other than maybe Pokemon Go. I mean, thanks to, unfortunately, Scarlet and Violet not really being as long as honestly, unfortunately, I never thought I would say this, but Scarlet and Violet not having the longevity that Sword and Shield had was kind of mind blowing for me to even admit. But it's crazy to think about that.
You never know how good they are until they leave, Luke.
I know, right? It blows my mind. But yeah, like I think ROM hacking and the ROM hacking community is so pivotal to Pokemon's overall health and staying into the mainstream, because it is one of those things where there are gaps in between releases. I mean, we haven't gotten a mainline series Pokemon game in, I guess now it'll be 3 years next year, and we haven't gotten anything since Scarlet and Violet and their DLC. And so like definitely like these new ROM hacks coming out are keeping Pokemon in like the front of people's
keeping
mind.
It on my feed. Keeping it on my YouTube
Pokemon
feed.
Engaged. Yeah.
I don't see a single like series really, barring a couple of people that do specific like hardcore nuzlocks of vanilla games.
Yeah.
That actually go out and play these games. Yeah, it's always 100%. A ROM hack. It's always Radical Red. It's Emerald Sea Glass. It's Renegade Platinum. It's Run and Bun. Oh, I should have mentioned that actually. The new hardest game ever is Pokemon Run and Bun. So if you want to ruin your life, go give that a try.
If you want to ruin your life, go run and bum it up over there.
If you really, like when you get home from work and you're really tired and you just want to sit on the game and just
hate yourself,
zone out. Why don't you just hate yourself a little bit more and play Pokemon Run and Bun, where you'll just stress yourself out to a certain point where work isn't stressful anymore, because the only thing you can do when you come home is go into the black pit of uncertainty.
Oh my Lord, I would cry. But yeah, no, ROM hacks, man, we love them. We're very happy that they're around. I'm glad that I'm now doing some more fun content with it. But yeah, Jake, I guess before we move on, you mentioned it a little bit, but you're talking about Ethereal Emerald, your little rendition of a ROM hack. Coming from someone who actually modded the game itself, programmed it, how easy or difficult is that? And has that changed your perspective on people who do this type of thing, like in general?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Now, I've got basic coding knowledge, which now, if you're looking at the decompositions, so decomp means that all the files, effectively what we are editing is what Nintendo had at that stage. When they were making Pokemon Emerald, they had these exact files in front of them in the exact language. So in effect, I could have been sat in Nintendo's office or Game Freak's office coding away.
That's cool.
The the extent that I ROM hacked was changing a couple of events and changing teams. Anyone could do that. There's a little file called teams, and then you can go in there, and it's literally super easy to edit. You can find the name of the trainer. So in Pokemon, they will name trainers different names, so you can find whatever. So you go to trainer Wally, and he'll have 4 instances of where his team is pulled through. And you can see he has a route. Okay. So you literally type over the route and go, give him circuitry.
Okay.
At level 50. And then the moves are just followed. So it says like move _ Thunderbolt, move _ Tail Glow. So anyone can edit that. Setting it up is the hard part. Okay. Because you have to download like Linux, and then you have to get like VMs and so what I hope eventually is that we do get like a Pokemon editor like PK Hex that will let you just edit trainers. So you could just boot up a program, put the ROM in, and then type whatever you want, make it, and then send it away, and then save over it. It's not that hard to do, I don't think. And what was the rest of the question, Luke? I can't remember. I've gone off on a tangent.
It was just like, how was it for you to, obviously make the ROM itself? And do you have respect for people who can go literally into the ROM and change every little thing about it? Like,
it takes years of coding. Yeah, okay. I think that they have either taught themselves how to do it, or they'll have some sort of education in coding, and it'll be years. Absolute years. And it actually gave me more acknowledgement of Game Freak and what they do, because they are building it from scratch. We're just taking the shell and polishing it. They build the whole thing from scratch.
Okay.
But I can't do it.
Definitely.
I just put Pokemon in the game.
Listen, man, I can barely beat these damn games. I could not even tell you how to make a fucking game from scratch. So, but no, that's really cool. And like to think about that, you actually did that, and it was a lot of fun actually like watching you play through it. And like, definitely shout out to the ROM hackers out there, guys. Without y'all, we would not be consuming Pokemon at all at this point. I'm gonna be so for real with you guys. And then I guess, so we've been talking about ROM hackers, and we mentioned how some of them have gotten cease and desist. What do you think goes on in the minds of Game Freak and Nintendo when they see these games? Do you think they see them as like great ideas that they can maybe take in the future? Do you see them as, obviously ones that are, I guess, too good, they'll come in there and be like, hey, no? Or do you really just say, hey, thank God you guys are making these, because we're still stuck in the fucking lab trying to figure out what the Gen 10 starters are? Like, how do you feel like Nintendo literally sits there and reacts to these ROM hacks?
I think they must they have a monopoly on the whole like type of game anyway. They've got no real direct competition anymore, so they can kind of just throw these cease and desists out willy-nilly. We've seen it with the Terra leak. They will actively bin designs off if someone else has done it better than what they have. So I think the one I recently saw was we were going to have a flying type Eevee. And someone had done a design or a fan design that was better than what they had. And instead of approaching that artist and going like, we love your design, can we like buy it off you? Or would you be interested in coming in and implementing it with us? Like, give us the rundown, give us the idea behind the design so we could put like a Pokedex entry. Instead of bringing people in, they'd rather just go, no, throw that away. So we will never get that flying type Eevee anymore because someone else has done it better.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think you mentioned it as definitely the ones that have the fake monster are more likely to get those cease and desist ones for sure. But I also like the thing is like you mentioned that Eevee one, and it's so funny. I know we're about to like literally do a hard tangent off of ROMs with this one line of dialogue. But I kind of understand why Pokemon and Game Freak would do that. And it's not because they want to spend the money and have someone they're not like, oh, you have a better idea. I think it's just so much legal work, because then not only do you have to license them for the game, they got to license them for the anime, they got to license them for merchandise, you got to license them for the Pokemon cards and whatever type of media that Pokemon is gonna be in. I can only imagine the legalities and the loopholes and so much work that has to go in for them to be like, hey, Julie, we love your flying, your Flyeon. Like, come on in, and we'd love to have you a part of the team. I can only imagine why they would do that, and I guess to each their own. But also, like, Nintendo, like, chill. Like, you can still develop your damn flying Eevee, and just because it looks better than what you guys are going to do, you can still do it, because you guys can just update the damn model and update the artwork whenever you want to. And that's the thing. Like, I personally don't see it.
I suppose all the ROM hacking community as well. In effect, we should not have these files.
Oh yeah, no, we're not supposed to have
like
these files.
we're sat here playing like on the pedestal, like saying, "Oh, we're all great," but no, we shouldn't have these files at all.
No,
like, they should never happen. I suppose the only ones that could maybe get away with it, I'm playing like ones that like Grueling Gold and probably Pokemon Reborn. Basically, like the non-ROMs, like the ones where you have to boot up like a Java game. They're built in Java, so it's completely different. The mechanics might be the same, but it's coded differently. It's on a different platform. In effect, if they didn't put Pokemon on it, it wouldn't be Pokemon. Yeah. It would just be too similar, and then they'd get a patent cease and desist.
Big time.
Instead of a mechanical cease and desist of, you've stolen our shit, stop using it.
Yeah.
It's like, instead it's, you've copied us, stop it.
I remember, I think the last big one I remember seeing was Pokemon Uranium, which was actually, funnily enough, it was a Java-based game. It was not loaded in through the things as well. And I think it is just one of those things where if it gets enough attention and Nintendo's just like feeling itself, I guess they're like, all right, well, stop. I feel like it's so random at times as well. But like, again, you think about it, they don't have any issues with your Radical Reds or your Emerald Kaizos or your Volt, where they literally take the game, they take the game engine and say, we're not selling it, which is, I think, is probably what helps them not get in troubles, because they're not physically selling it and making a profit off of it. But they're like legitimately just taking the structure of these games and changing them and just putting them out there free. And so, that's not legal.
I think the problem Uranium had as well is that Pokemon have always been anti-death.
Yes.
Nothing dies, it only faints. Everything comes back. Uranium was like, everything dies. The world is black. Everything dies.
Yes. Very much. Nintendo, for all their faults, they're very protective. Game Freak, they're very protective of their baby known as Pokemon. And if they don't like it...
Can you imagine, like, if an 8-year-old, like, went from Scarlet and Violet and then got their hands on Uranium?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's got Pokemon on it. It's got the Pokemon logo.
Yeah.
And then they get introduced, and it's literally a sacrificial cult in the first scene. And
yeah. I mean, that game was wild for a number of reasons. So, but, it definitely is one of those. That's a good point. That's a good point right there. Poor little Timmy's like, Mommy, look, my Koraidon. Mommy, guess what? I'm gonna join a cult. Like, no.
Mom, what is abduction?
What is abduction, and why are we doing that with our? Why am I being abducted now, Mom? This is not the same. And Mom's out here just like, you'll never play Pokemon ever again. And then now the Switch 3 doesn't get sold because some guy wanted to kill Pokemon in his fan game. Oh my goodness! But that definitely is those are ROMs in a nutshell for sure. It is one of those ones where. We love them. There's some great ones out there, and there's some hot trash out there, like just straight doo-doo out there. But without it, guys, I mean, honestly, ROM hacks would not be where they are. with it, Pokemon would not be what it is without. We would not clearly be having us fun. And as selfishly as content creators, we love these things. This is what makes kind of like the content creation go around. I mean, I have been nothing within about the last, literally since you introduced it to me about 2 weeks ago, watching all these difficulty nuzlocks of the different fan made games done by Antler Boy, like that stuff. It's like I spend like my
content's
crack.
addictive.
It's so much fun.
Addictive.
That's so much fun, dude. And I love watching every bit of it. And without those ROM hacks, we would not be getting this awesome content. So as a consumer of content and a creator of content, thank you, ROM hackers, for giving us great games. And I definitely hope you guys will definitely check some out as well. And yeah, leave in the comments, guys, what your favorite ROM hacks are. But definitely would love to play them at some time. There's so many out there that are available for us. And so, we definitely would love to check it out. And maybe one day you might see a series of it. So
maybe one day.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Well, guys, I think that's going to wrap us up for today. Thank you guys again for always watching. Jake, once again, thank you so much for joining me on this awesome day of the good old Friday before we release 12 Hours Down. It's been a long day, and definitely, guys, thank you guys so much for joining us. And until next time on, I guess, episode 10. Oh,
Big
boy.
1-0.
We're going to have something special for you guys. Yeah, you will have to wait to see for next week to see what that is. But until next time, guys, I've been Luke, and this has been Jake, and we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.